up with them philosophies and all that over there in Africa. So they looked at them Africans as some of them that practiced as brothers, which they were not. All right. See, the spirit rested on Abba, which is Elijah coming back, John the Baptist coming back, and that's why he broke off from them, and they were not dealing with the New Testament. They were waiting for the Messiah to come for the first time. Abba was the one that broke off, and he delved into the New Testament, and he said, spoke of the Messiah, Yahweh Shai.
First name, because they wouldn't let him in their group.
Marsha Yaquab ties into. So when Matthew set up the Royal Ethiopian chapter of the Hebrew Israelites, based on he couldn't join in with the Caucasian Edomites, white folks in the B'nai B'rith, since he couldn't join in with them, his spiritual component of Judaism, of our worship, was a Kabbalah. Or whatever you want to call it.
Now, we already proved and had the history of the elders brought out that they was teaching out of the Kabbalah a time ago. So, that is true.
And we know for a fact you don't supposed to deal with that, because that's dealing with the fallen angels, tapping into the spirit realm of the fallen angels. And I used to hear our leader talk about it different times. He used to talk about Ketha, which is 1, crown, 2, wisdom, 3, represent intellect, 4, mercy, 5, judgment, 6, beauty, 7, victory, 8, glory, and 10, foundation, which is the kingdom. So this is what have corrupted the whole body. We living in the tree of good and evil from Adam's time. That's where we at. That's why you're going to get good, and that's why you're going to get some evil. But we're supposed to come forth from that. We're supposed to come forth for that, because the priesthood has been changed. After the priesthood went into the Levitical order, it's supposed to come into the Melchizedek order. That's where we're supposed to be. But this is why the confusion is going on in the body of Israel. The reason that the confusion is going on in the body of Israel, because this whole thing, the foundation that was laid for us to come forward as Israelites, was laid on Masonic principles, was laid on the Rosicrucian principles.
All right, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and the few sisters out there. Unto the Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. And this is like what happened today. This is from Apostle Tahar's video, and it's something that I caught it at these particular parts when he was speaking about the foundation, how the foundation was based on Masonic principles and all this other stuff. But it was really what got to me was the reaction of the guys that was doing the commentary on this, and it was basically trying to say, in a sense of, we knew that was that this this whole One West doctrine is off, or something to that extent. It was the way they was pushing it. So as I was driving, I'm listening to it. Apostle Tahar was breaking it down and so forth. And like Apostle Tahar said, we deal with the scriptures. We don't deal with nothing else. All right. But the thing that got to me was the fact that how these guys reacted that way. And the reaction showed me that they themselves are they babes in this. The whole Fopi thing is just garbage. All right. And for you not to understand the history of Israel, point blank period to make statements of that sense of, you guys got it from the devil, Esau. You guys got it from, like he was basically the former elder. Well, he's an elder, whatever. Elder Kazak was saying the foundation was completely off and all this other stuff. No. This is how men was seeking. And I'm going to bring us a couple of scriptures just to answer this. But when you go into the history of Israel, Israel didn't start out as a good people. All right? And it goes back, matter of fact, let me just get the scriptures. Let me get the scriptures. Psalm 73, this is the best one I can find because our history is deep. 73:2. It says, I will open my mouth in a parable. I will utter dark sayings of old, which we have heard and known, and our fathers have told us. We will not hide them from their children, showing to generation to come the praises of the Lord and his strength and his wonderful works that he have done. Right? For he established a testimony in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our fathers that they should make them known to their children. So this is supposed to be a generational thing. So what ended up happening? That tide was cut. That tide was cut when our elders, men that was older, that was supposed to know, and through slavery, did not know. When that tide was cut, that left our fathers, our grandfathers, our great-great-grandfathers, not be able to teach their children the right way. Okay? Simple, right? It says that the generation to come might know them, even the children, which should be born, who should arise and declare to them to their children. That's why this thing was supposed to go out generation to generation. It says in Deuteronomy real quick, 32, I believe it's 8. I'm sorry, 7. Deuteronomy 32:7. Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and they will show thee, thy elders, and they will tell thee. All right? So you're supposed to have your fathers, you're supposed to have your elders that was supposed to tell you what's happened, all right, how things turn out. But once again, what happened? Slavery. And that tide was cut. This is it's simple mathematics, actually. All right. Back to Psalm 78, and was it 7? That was it. 7. That they might set their hope in Yahweh and not forget the works of the Most High, but keep his commandments. And might not be as their fathers, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation that set not their heart aright, whose spirit was not steadfast with the Most High. So here it goes. So the Lord spoke of great things that was supposed to be passed down, and not to be like that generation that was before them. All right. It says the children of Ephraim, being armed and carrying bows, turned back in the day of battle. They kept not the covenant of the Most High, and refused to walk in his law, and forgot his works and his wonders that he had showed them. Marvelous things did in the sight of their fathers in the land of Egypt, in the field of Zohan. So here, this is the key. And people, I don't know how people forget this, but our forefathers that came out of the land of Egypt, they wasn't pure as they wasn't just, they was wicked. All right. You think that they didn't have the customs of the Egyptians in their minds? Obviously, when Moses took for a period of time, they had Aaron build them a calf. So they was fresh out of Egypt, and their thoughts were just evil. Even though they saw the wonderful works, they saw the plagues, they saw, which is going to say, he divided the sea and caused them to pass through, and made waters to stand as a heap. In the daytime also he led them with a cloud chariot, and at night with a light of fire chariot. He clove the rocks in the wilderness and gave them drink as out of great depths. He brought them streams out of the rock and caused waters to run down like rivers. And they sinned yet more against him by provoking the Most High in the wilderness. Then why did I bring this up? So if people that's trying to fine tune themselves to the Most High didn't know the right way to do it. Right? They didn't know the right way to do it. So how can we sit there and like, oh, the foundation was terrible, when the Lord, just like how he did in the past, he was going by particular lines, particular order. He bypassed this man, that man, and stuck with this man, Abba Bivens. Abba Bivens stuck with, and then his line went down, and Elder Yaiqua, Ariyah, Mashah, and then went down to Apostle Tahar. All right? The Lord does this all the time. There's nothing new. So their reaction really got me thinking like, yo, you guys obviously don't know the scriptures. All right? You don't know the scriptures. It says, and they tempted the Most High in their heart by asking meat for their lust, that they spake against the Most High and said, can he furnish a table in the wilderness? Behold, he smote the rock, that the waters gushed out and the streams overflow. Can he give bread also? Can he provide flesh for his people? Therefore the Lord had heard this and was wroth, so a fire was kindled against Jacob, and anger also came up against Israel, because they believed not in the Most High and trusted not in his salvation, though he had commanded the clouds from above and opened the doors of heaven, and had rained manna upon them to eat, and had given them of corn of the heavens. Men did eat angels' food, and he sent them meat to full. They caused an east wind to blow into heaven, and by his power he brought in the south wind, and rained flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sand of the sea. And he let it fall in the midst of their camp, round about their habitation. So they did eat and were filled, for he had given them their own desire. They were not estranged from their lusts, but while their meat was yet in their mouths, the wrath of the Most High came upon them, and slew the fatness of them, and smote them, and chosen men of Israel. For all this they sinned still, and believed not for his wondrous works. So they didn't believe in the Lord back then, even though he took them and got them out of Egypt, out of bondage. He gave them, he fed them, he clothed them, he did everything. Which, matter of fact, I'm gonna get to this. Ezekiel 16. Slakia. I saw that one. And again the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, cause Jerusalem to know her abomination, and say, Thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is the land of Canaan. Thy father is an Amorite, and thy mother is a Hittite. So what the Lord meant by that? He was calling his people heathens. All right? That's why he meant by that. You're nothing but heathens. As for the nativity and the day that thou was born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thy wash in thy water to supply thee. That was not salted at all, nor swallowed at all. Let me see what that means. To entwine, to enwrap, be swallowed, to be swathed. Let me just. The Hebrew word is katal. Katal. Let me see what it says here. Swaddle. Wrapped someone, especially a baby, in a garment or clothed. So this is how the Lord looked upon his people, right? You can't come with this righteous-ish and like we was all good. Like, like of course, you have to find your way. You have to do the deep research and so forth and make sure it was the right way, because that was the beginning stage. You're surrounded by madness. All right, we're surrounded by madness. So they had to filter out certain things, and the Lord had to filter out certain men. Okay? It's the same order of things. It says, no, I pity thee to do any of these unto thee, to have compassion upon thee, but thou was cast out in the open field to the load of men, or to the load of thy person in the day that thou was born. And when I passed by thee, I saw thee polluted in thy own blood. I said unto thee, when that was in thy blood, live. Yea, I said unto thee, when I was in thy blood, live. So, real quick, another precept that came in mind. I'm gonna try to make this quick. All right. Wink. Keyword is wink. Acts 17:30. And the times of this ignorance, Yahweh winked at, but now commandeth all men, everyone, to repent. So we can't act like we came here top notch. We was the best, our best selves. Nah, we was bloody. We was filthy out there. All right, our forefathers was filthy. They were filthy back then. That's why a lot of our forefathers didn't make it to the land of Israel. Okay? So when the elder had made a statement, I found the foundation was off and all that, it had to be off in order for the pure good stuff to come out of it. That's why when the Lord said to Israel, I didn't choose you because your numbers, all right? The Lord didn't choose us because we was great, we was sinless, or any of that stuff. We was wicked. He chose us because we was the chosen. But even within the line of the chosen, there are other chosen people. Okay? And we could go countless. I'm thinking of from Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. All right? So the Lord bypassed Ham and Japheth and went straight to Shem. And then Shem, he bypassed a lot of individuals to stick to that royal line until he got who? Abraham. And where did Abraham come from? What did Abraham come from? He came from the house of we get it. Hebrews 11, I believe it's 6. Salakia. It's Hebrews 11 and 8. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go out into a place which he should have after received for an inheritance, obeyed and went out, not knowing whither he went. By faith he sojourned in the land of the promise, as in a strange country, dwelling in tabernacles with Isaac and Jacob, and heirs of him of the same promise. So the key to what? Where did the Lord call Abraham from? I believe is, just get it. Genesis 15, I believe it's 15 and 1. All right, now it's Genesis 12. Genesis 12 and 1. It says, now the Lord has said unto Abraham, get thee out of that country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee, and I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee and make thy name great, and that shall be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and I will curse them that curse thee. And in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. So I'm gonna stop right there with that one. So the Lord called out Abraham out of his father's household. Now his father was into all sorts of things, but he came out that line. All right. So the Lord is not. He wasn't looking for men that was already righteous. He was looking for a particular land, a particular group of people, and out of that particular, the best of the best. So we can't sit there and act like our foundation was all great, because look, we had people that was worshiping idols that was amongst us. All right, people that was doing foul things that was amongst us. So that was the point of that. Like, and that's why you hear these young whippersnappers. You think they have some type of understanding of the history. They act like it was just pure all the way. No, the Lord was doing the same thing that he was doing back then. He was dividing. He was looking. All right, which he already knew the lot was gonna fall on Abba Bivens. Then he was know that thing was gonna be passed down. Okay, and we always hear the stories of all those other men that came that was amongst Apostle Tahar, Gabar, and Rakar, and Pastor Ramla, and all the people that was around them, and they was the only ones that survived that. Why? Because the Lord that's what he does. All right? He does sifting. Okay? Real quickly, hold on. I'm all over the place because it was just certain points I wanted to get. Starting to come back to me. Well, the Lord said he comes, but matter of fact, let's get that. Let's get that real quick. I know it's Matthew's physician. Matthew's. Let me get the one of Matthew's is better. Oh, this is Mark. Well, it doesn't matter. Mark is good. Mark 2:17. When Yahushua heard it, he said unto them, they that are whole have no need of a physician, but they that are sick. I come not to call the righteous, but the sinners to repent. So yes, their attention, the beginning wasn't right. Because, from the words of our apostles, that they even had the old school had them praying to angels, which was off. All right. And they did their research. It's like, nah, we're not supposed to be praying to the angels. We're supposed to be praying to Yahweh through Yahushua. All right. So they fixed all the things that's why the foundation is strong right now. Because this foundation is on who? Is based on Yahushua, which is the key. First Peter's 2. Where am I? Maybe it's not that one. Right. First Peter's 2:6. Let me see. All right. First Peter's 2:4. To whom coming as unto a living stone, disannowed indeed of men, but chosen of the Most High, precious, yet also as living stones, are built upon the spiritual house and holy priesthood, to offer up spiritual sacrifice acceptable to Yahweh by Yahushua Mashiach. Wherefore, as it is contained in the scripture, behold, I laid in Zion a chief cornerstone, elect precious, and he that believeth on him shall not be confounded. Unto you, therefore, which believe he is precious, but unto them which be disobedient, the stone which the builders disannulled, the same is made the head of the cornerstone of the corner, and a stone of stumbling, a rock of offense, even to them which stumble at the word, being disobedient, whereunto also they were appointed. So the Lord did not accept everybody. And Apostle Paul said it. He said Abba Bivens got away from the commandment keepers because they were still looking for a Messiah. So like that wasn't the way. So he got into the New Testament, and the Lord opened things up to him. All right, this is the way. Okay, it says, but you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood. Do we have to look up the word chosen? Let's look at it anyway. Chosen, eklektos, picked out, chosen. So throughout the process of elimination of time, certain men were chosen for a certain feat. Those that were chosen for this time was created for this time. All right. Those that were chosen for that time, and obviously that particular elder, he's supposed to be our grand elder, but he was nowhere to be found. So he has pretty much nothing to say to us, because when we needed the most, he wasn't there. So the Lord chose men to keep the thing going. And the Lord always does that. It says, chosen by the Most High to obtain salvation through Yahushua. So the elect. Point blank period. But ye are a chosen or elect generation. So the same thing as the children that went into the land, they were elect generation. It wasn't our forefathers, because they didn't believe despite all the stuff, and their foundation wasn't correct, period. Because there was a time of what? There was with the Egyptians. So of course they picked up a lot of things for the Egyptians. They knew of the Lord because of our forefathers, but they were completely corrupted. It was the generation after them that were chosen to go into the land. It says, priesthood and holy nation, a peculiar people, that you should show forth the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. So we was called out of darkness. All right. We was all in a dark state. That's why the Lord winked our ignorance. We was all filthy. We was not washed. I should have finished Ezekiel because it goes into it. The Lord gave us clothing. He cleaned us up, and where we became whores unto the nations. All right. It says verse 10, which in time past were not a people, but are now the people of the Most High. So we was nobodies, but now we are the people of the Lord. We call upon Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So the foundation was always there, because it was something from the beginning of time. The Lord chose his elect, which have not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. All right. So that goes into the Israelite foreigners. That goes into everything. There's a reason why there was the Israelite foreigners. All right. Because we was all Gentiles. Okay. So he could said, people may believe like, oh yeah, the foundation, y'all was into this, and this is where you get your roots and all that. But guess what? We believe in the scriptures 100%. We just teach the scriptures 100%. So their foundation may be off, but the Lord cleaned it up and found the right people to keep the foundation, the true foundation, which is the scriptures, which was Yahweh Shai, to teach us so we could be alive and we could do what we're doing to this day. So this thing of ours is a lot deeper, and a lot of people may be offended by certain things. Oh, well, too bad. Be offended. The Lord's not dealing with you. All right. The name of the Lord is important. the laws, all right, to your best of your ability, because you won't be able to keep the laws 100%. All right. This is the thing about faith in Yahweh Shai. So that previous crazy thing that they was into, the Lord had to clean it up in the process of time, so it could be presented correctly for this great boom that took place after 2007, and when the masses of brothers came. It's that simple. So with that being said, shalom to the elect. Shalom.